I would like to tell you a little story about HEMIGRAMMUS BLEHERI, which is often confused today. It was in the end of 1965. I had just come back from America for my studies and work in Florida, and I decided to come to the Rio Negro area to do research with the help of Willie Schwartz. This at the time was called Aquarium Rio Negro. And Willie arranged for me to get a boat to travel up the Rio Negro, the largest blackwater river in the world. And I had this opportunity to have some 20-liter kerosene cans where I had put my fishes and collectings in, and we paddled for days and night up the river. We came to Barcelos, and from Barcelos I wanted to do research in the affluents of the Rio Negro, and at that time it was very difficult to reach. It was isolated Indian region, and we paddled to the first Indian village, and I asked them for permissions to go further upriver, and finally I found this fish in the Rio Jufaris. And when I came eventually back after about 2 weeks to Manaus, Willie said to me, "Oh, you just got some ruminose tetras." And I said, "No, Willie, this is a different fish. The ruminose is only known from an area in the lower Amazon, which has already been described much earlier and has become into the hobby. My discovery had never been in the hobby before, because the people were exporting the so-called ruminose tetra from Belém and never from Manaus before that time. And actually it was a funny story, because it took from end of 1965 until 1987, until Jacques Chery in France realized that I really had found a new species and a different fish. And he described it with Folgermann as HEMIGRAMMUS BLEHERI. And he called it the brilliant ruminose tetra. But until today it's been confused. There's a third species which is called Petitella georgia, which is actually much larger than all the other two species, and it's been confused in the hobby since. People are breeding it around the world, but I believe that especially in Asia they have been mixed up, that ruminose HEMIGRAMMUS rhodostomus has been bred or crossed with HEMIGRAMMUS BLEHERI. I have not seen anywhere a crossing with the large Petitella georgia, which is only found in the upper Amazon River, in the Peruvian area and Napo. This has never been crossed, but the other two, I think they have. And then we must not forget that there is a HEMIGRAMMUS BLEHERI also in the Atapapo River, which makes border with Venezuela and Colombia. But one can realize, and Jacques Chery also said, this is definitely HEMIGRAMMUS BLEHERI. But there's no question that the brilliant ruminose tetra is extremely red all the way to its beginning of the dorsal fin, while the ruminose tetra has only reddish on his, as the English name implies, around its nose.